stuff that happened the last couple of days with the wood.
Oh.
Hi, this is Tina.
Hi, Tina. I have John and John in here.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Hi, John and John. For John M. This is Tina. I am supporting in Lori's absence, and I am also from HR. Currently in Virginia, and that is why I'm not there in person. So wanted to speak with you in regards to an investigation that is taking place. But first want to lay some kind of housekeeping rules that we do have in regards to investigations that take place. How does that sound?
Okay.
Okay. So, again, the purpose of this conversation is in regards to an investigation that is taking place. Melissa and I will be taking notes. I have my computer. I'm not sure if Melissa is doing notes on a computer or pen and paper. We will not be recording this conversation and ask that you do not record either. Is that acceptable to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, John, we do ask that this conversation remain confidential and that you do not share what we ask or what is discovered in this conversation with anyone on the floor. We will also keep this information confidential in that we may say a couple of people said this, one person said this. We don't share necessarily that John said this or anything of that nature, except for people who make decisions or influence change. We also do have speak up and non-retaliation policies at Marvin, and we do ensure that people are able to speak up and share their stories or things that happen within Marvin and True Style without being retaliated against. What that means is that you can say something or other people are able to say things without the fear of being retaliated against. So no one can share their story or their experience and then turn around and have something held against them, withheld from them, or anything else. Is that understandable?
Yeah.
Okay. So, John, it was brought to our attention that you may have been involved with an incident removing some wood from the building on Monday. Can you tell us what happened there?
Yeah. I was removing wood, and the forklift driver kind of, he's like, another one. He's like, I'm getting tired of chopping this up. And I jokingly said, well, if you don't want to chop it up, just go set it out in my truck. And he's like, yeah, that's kind of what we do here. And I'm like, yeah, but I keep getting told no. And he's like, but I drive the forklift. So, and I was like, oh my God, you're right. Like, you do. And I'm like, but I don't want to step on anybody's toes. He's like, nah, I got this. So I was like, all right. He's like, just pull it out back and tell me which one's yours. And I was like, it's the blue one with the broken window. He's like, okay. So he loaded it. And then at lunchtime, I saw Christy Eagle Eye in my truck. And then about half an hour after that, Christy and Kelly walk up and they're like, hey, we told you no. And I was like, well, yeah, but the forklift driver said it. I mean, I did ask you, but it was a long time ago. So when I first came to this side, I didn't know no meant forever no. And I'm like, what happens if I change supervisors? What happens if I go to the other side of the building? Does your no always trump, like, everything else is going to happen in the universe? Or is it just like, was that a no then? Was I joking then? Were you joking then? I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, I thought it'd be fine. Apparently it was a huge deal. I was like, well, why can't you just tell me not to do it no more and give me a slip? And they're like, nope, we don't ever let people take stuff out of the building. And I'm like, that's crazy. So then I talked to the forklift driver again. He's like, I ain't never seen no shit like that. He's like, I don't know why they're targeting you, but I have never had to unload anything out of anybody's truck ever. And I'm like, that's crazy. How long you work here? He's like, long time. I was like, oh, well. So I was told to pull my truck around so he could unload it, and they said it wouldn't it's not a big deal. They forgave me. That just pull the truck around before the end of the day on last break, and I would be, everything would be fine. So before I could even pull around, the dude went over there and got it out of my truck, and that was the end of it.
Okay, who said it wasn't a big deal, that they forgave you and everything would be fine?
Kelly, the curly-haired girl. I went into her office the next day to talk to her about it, and that's when she's like, oh yeah. She, word for word, she's like, I forgive you. It's fine. Mistakes happen. Everything's okay.
So she said it that day, or she said it the next day?
The next day, the next morning.
When did you ask and were told no to remove the wood?
You know, I would actually have no clue. It was when I first came over here and realized we throw pallets of these out like twice a day. And it was just a slow day, and I was just idly talking. I'm like, I'd love to just take one of these home real quick. And, like, no. So
Approximately when was that?
months ago. Months
July.
before.
I think you transferred end of June and July time period.
Oh,
You came over from the door side. Right?
yeah. How would you even know that, July? I would have no clue.
Yeah. I looked up your velocity for the investigation. I had to do that.
No.
What do you do with the wood?
Firewood. Been trying to build the kid a tree house, but you know, lumber's just so expensive. I mean, at this point, it'd be cheaper just to buy one of them small prefab sheds. The school in Manly sells them at cost, but then I would have no way to lift it into the tree. It'd probably be too big, and doing it by myself, that'd probably end badly. So I figured if I could just start by building a little platform up there, maybe I can modify a doghouse or something, you know? I don't know. Build a little tree house, putting some sideboards on my truck for when I'm moving wouldn't be a bad idea either. Doesn't matter to me if it's bowed 1/8 inch or 1/2 inch even. My screws will straighten it out.
What was the forklift driver's name?
Honestly, I don't know. I call him the yellow guy because his forklift is yellow. And then we have the gray guy. His forklift is gray.
When you were asked about that, what did you say? When you were asked who put the wood in the truck?
Oh, I said I don't know. I was like, I don't want to answer that. Because I was like, well, I don't want to throw him under the bus. I don't want to throw me under the bus. We just had a meeting to where Jason said, yeah, we're never going to put you guys on the spot and ask pointed questions. And so I was like, my comment was, I don't know, it just appeared there. I didn't know what else to say. And then I honestly didn't. That was the first thing that came to my mind. I was trying to think of something that would be kind of funny. It was pointed out to me that it might not have been funny as I thought it was in my head. And I apologized to Christy the next day, or that same day, and I apologized to Kelly the next morning when I seen her again. I couldn't locate her after that, on that day.
So, are you aware that a fork truck driver or forklift driver is not a member of management?
No.
You're not aware of that?
No.
So if a forklift driver came over and told you to clock out for the day and go home, would you do that?
I would question my lead about it. I'd start with her because she's easier to find, I suppose. But if the lead were to consult that, then, and you know, in that scenario, if I couldn't find my supervisor, I would have no reason not to believe it. The next day when I clock in, and if somebody was like, WTF, I'd be like, that guy, I don't know. Like, why did that happen?
Okay, but if a forklift driver gave you direction and your supervisor gave you direction, which one would you follow?
Well, if they contradicted the supervisor, of course.
Okay, so why did you choose to follow the direction of a forklift driver as opposed to a supervisor in this case?
Well, honestly, the forklift driver, he definitely has seniority on who's here longest. And I didn't know if maybe his immediate supervisor might have okayed it. Maybe things work differently in their area. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to help me out. I don't know. Here's what I know. I need some sideboards on my truck. Do I really need them? No, not really. I just kind of think it'd make the old farm truck look a bit cooler. With that logic, is this a big deal? And if we're gonna go down that rabbit hole, I'm concerned why to the forklift driver would immediately follow it with, yeah, I take pallets out of here all the time. It's literally not a big deal. I load trucks for people that work here all the time. And in the same conversation, another guy is like, yeah, I got 2 of these pallets sitting in my mother-in-law's garage, and she's bitching at me. She's complaining to me to get them removed. And I was like, oh, well, if it's really not a big deal, and today's the one day I just happen to drive the Ford truck because the brakes on my Suburban aren't working the best, then yeah, let's just hurry up and get it done right now, today, because I don't drive my truck often. The registration's 3 months expired. So it just it felt like the universe provided the cards in my hand, and I was like, okay, hurry up and get it done. Didn't put much thought into it.
Well, unfortunately, it is considered theft of company property, which is grounds for termination. So your employment is terminated with true style effective immediately.
But doesn't it have to be theft if you leave the property?
No,
Oh.
you were told no, and you decided to take advantage of all the cards that the universe put into your hand that day. And you were aware and even told the forklift driver that you were told no.
I told the forklift driver I was told no? Oh, yeah, I did. Yep.
Your statement.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
So, if there was any question, you certainly could have asked your supervisor and verified that you were not in fact authorized to take that material. So, do you have things in the work area that you need to gather?
Yes.
I'll get a copy.
John?
Yep, I'll take care of it.
So I don't work here effective now, right?
Correct.
So if I did record the conversation, I could post that, right? I mean, that'd be a lawyer thing after this.